Star Trek, the ultimate franchise. These are the podcasts of the Wakefield brothers. Their 16-year mission to watch every production, to seek out life lessons and new inspirations, to boldly watch like most fans have watched before. Welcome back to Temporal Directive, the Star Trek fan podcast rewatching the entire franchise in chronological order. I'm Gary.
And I'm Tom.
And this week, we're doing what all good Starfleet captains do sometimes, and that is we're breaking the Temporal Directive to bring you a very special episode. And we are joined for this incursion in time by returning guest Grant. Welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
How have you been since we saw you last? It's been a couple of weeks.
I've been missing Star Trek on on Paramount, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a break since watching the last show. So, yeah, it's good to see Lower Decks back out in action.
It's good, right?
Yeah, it's a great show.
It is a good show. We'll talk about that in a sec, but let's just before we get into it, let's just take a minute to just reflect on the fact that Star Trek producer and writer Jeri Taylor passed away recently, and she did a lot for Star Trek back in the Next Gen DS9 Voyager era, and was really instrumental in putting a female captain in the chair for Voyager. And had a huge impact on the franchise that we love and we talk about every week. So just a moment to reflect that she has passed away and that we appreciate the work that she did while she was here.
Thanks for the journey.
That's it.
Before we get into these new episodes, what do we think of Lower Decks in general?
One of my favourite shows.
Yeah?
Definitely. It's to me, it's the parody that Star Trek's always needed, and the humour in it's just it's like a Family Guy mentality, but all related to Star Trek. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? Like the humor is just perfect. Like it just does it so well. It's really, really good. And in today's era of adult comedies and stuff, it just sort of slots in really well. Like I know it's not completely adult, but it's just really, really good.
I'm surprised at how well it fits into the canon of Star Trek, even though it's a bit tongue-in-cheek and a little and funny. It still fits. It still feels like Star Trek, doesn't it?
It does.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I really love it. When it was first announced that they were going to do an animated comedy, I was like, this is going to be so shit. And then when they said it was going to be by the guy that did Rick and Morty, I've only seen I don't know, 5 minutes of that, and I was like, nah, it's not for me.
I love Rick and Morty.
So,
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, it's just me then.
A lot of people, you need to give it some more time. A lot of people can't get past the first episode or maybe even the second, but the first episode is really hard to get past, but once you get past that, it's just hilarious.
That was like me in Lower Decks. I just had to get past that first episode of season 1, and it was great from then on, but I didn't like the first episode of Lower Decks.
Yeah. I don't remember if I don't think I disliked it, but I think it took me a little while to warm up to it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, it's just...
It's not normal to see Trek like that.
It's just not my Star Trek. But anyway, now it's really grown on me and I really love it. But
it's brilliant.
While we're talking about animated Trek, what are your thoughts on Prodigy? Have either of you watched that?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the one I have struggled. I think I've watched the first episode maybe 3 times, and I just can't get past the first episode.
I think I watched the first couple of episodes, but I never went back to it. So it's not because I didn't really like it.
I thought you'd be all over it with it being like a Voyager follow-on.
Yeah, well, I think it was one of those shows that obviously didn't grip me in enough because it was sort of dropped off, and I never sort of got back to it. But it's not one I'm against at all. Like I wouldn't mind picking it back up, but
I think with season 2, the the premise around it was like, and the storyline was okay, but I think that like the Valnicott, I think that's how you pronounce it, the enemy, was portrayed well, but there's these other aliens that come into it that just don't make sense to me in my mind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that sort of ruined Prodigy for me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll
We'll get to it eventually. It's on our list for our chronology, but it won't be for another 15 years or so before we get there.
I'll watch it before then. I'll probably give it another go soon.
Let's just say they copied a certain movie called The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
That's an odd thing to do in Star Trek.
The aliens looked exactly like those robot things.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
gotcha.
robot squid things.
Yeah. Squids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that doesn't help my idea of getting back to it. But I also need to rewatch, or I need to actually watch the original animated series as well, because I haven't done a lot of that.
It's the one I hate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I wouldn't say I love it, but there are some really, really good episodes in there, and clearly the creators of Lower Decks were inspired by the animated series, which we'll talk about in a minute. But both of you might have to go back and watch some the animated series from the 70s.
Yeah. And
Well, Tom, you're going to have to when we get to it in the chronology anyway, because it's canon.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm happy to do that.
Cool. All right, let's get into this special episode then. So it was a double episode premiere for season 5, which is going to be the final season of Lower Decks, which is very sad.
Very sad.
But it was a double episode. But let's do one episode at a time. And the first one was called Dos Cerritos. Was that a good accent? Say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cerritos.
Written by Aaron Burdett and directed by Megan Lloyd. And the IMDb synopsis reads: a spatial anomaly forces the Cerritos crew to face their own faces.
Great.
Right. So, should we talk through the episode?
Yeah, well, might as well stick to the way we go.
Yep. So we open on the collector's ship, Yorif, from The Most Toys. So he was from an episode in Next Gen. Data got kidnapped by one of these collectors, and this guy was brought on to for this other collector to brag about.
And Data wouldn't move.
And Data wouldn't move for him. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, this guy has a nice little collection. He's got a Horgon from Rhizo and a Bajoran tablet that I saw from Deep Space Nine in the background.
That's right.
And a couple of other cool things, but he's doing a bit of a tour around his collection with someone who turns out to be Tendi in disguise.
Yeah.
So she's undercover in her Mistress of the Winter Constellation role with her Orion crew, there to loot the ship. The other girls with her try to kill the collector and his get men, and she makes them stop.
Yeah. Holding them up.
Yeah.
Tendi keeps to the Starfleet values.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Isn't
That's
it?
right. And then over on the Cerritos, Rutherford is overworking himself because he misses Tendi so much.
Yeah.
And Boimler's very excited because he is meant to be featured in the newest episode of Fleet magazine, which was a Starfleet periodical. And but he's been cut, so he's not in the 30 under 30 list.
Not even in the 15
Not even in
mentions.
the honourable mentions, no. Even though Naomi Wildman, who's 10 years old, did get an honourable mention.
As assistant captain, or
Yeah, maybe.
I think we should also mention that in the new intro, there's the big green hand in the Borg fight now in the intro.
Yep.
I thought that was quite interesting, bringing back the big green hand.
Yeah, from the original series.
Correct.
Yeah, I know that every year that battle scene in the opening credits gets a little bit bigger. There's a little bit more added to it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so they head to the bridge and they talk about there being a quantum fissure Is that what they called
The
it?
interdimensional fissure, wasn't it? Or-
Yep.
Was it quantum fissure?
A quantum fissure, but
Yeah,
it's
it's another quantum fissure.
And yeah, they mention another quantum fissure, and then they say that this is the third one in like a month, and that they're increasing in frequency. And the captain says that someone's got to do space-time pothole repair or something like that, which I thought was hilarious. That this crew is like the roadworks team of space.
These people have been to Tasmania, obviously, and seen the state of our roads.
Yeah. I was driving back from the West Coast just last week. Blew a tire on a pothole.
Yeah.
Like,
Just nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad at the moment. Anyway, I needed a Cerritos crew to come and save me. But yeah, so they say it's boring, and they say they got to seal this
Fissure.
Thank you. My mind blank. Fuck, I can't even talk today. Yeah, they say they need to repair it before an alternate universe version of themselves come through, and then they get sucked through the fissure. First officer says something like, "We're dunking like a giant cookie or something."
Yep.
Yeah, we're dunking into the rift like a big old cookie. Yeah, funny. So they come out the other side, and there's another USS Cerritos there, and who's the captain? None other than Captain Becky Freeman. So it's our mariner is captain on this ship, and Captain Freeman's nowhere to be found. So the alternate mariner leads the crew in the repair operations, and they kind of pair off with the other versions of themselves to figure out how to get back, or how to get their ship back to the prime universe, which again is another joke that they make as well.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a good one. That.
This is the prime universe.
Yeah, that's it. We're the prime universe.
Which of course makes total sense.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
you
You'd be
know,
like that, wouldn't you? If someone came
Yeah.
in here and said, "Oh, we're from the prime universe," excuse me.
No. So yeah, it's funny that the mirror universe has been around for so long, but as far as they're concerned, they're the prime universe. But
Exactly.
we never talk about it like that. Anyway, it's funny.
That's what's good about the show, isn't it? They can really sort of do these things and poke fun at it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. So they go in the rift. What next?
We got the
They
crew
learn from-
coming in, doing the repairs, and then start the bickering over the false on the fake universe, and then we go back to Tendy's sister, showing us the medical frigate, the Orion one from the Orion Plague 300 years ago.
That's right.
And she's complaining how her other mistresses are trying to stab each other all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So she gets ordered to go and collect this old warship, right? To pay her debt back to the Orion so that she can go back to Starfleet.
Yeah, that's it.
So she gets her team together to head off.
Do you think the Orion Plague was COVID?
Well, I won't make any comments about the face masks not working then. So Tendi and the girls head to this other planet, and they find the ship and they beam in, and they're attacked by another group that bursts through the door. And they say, "Oh my God, it's blue Orions." And the blue people go, "Oh my God, it's green Orions." So for those unfamiliar, this is a reference to a original animated series episode called The Pirates of Orion, or Orion, depending on how you read it, where everyone in the episode refers to these blue aliens as Orions, but it's spelt the same as Orion. So technically they're the same species, but there was never any sort of follow-up or explanation. So now Lower Decks is finally answering those questions. Is this the same race?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same race. There's a blue and a green version.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole range of blue to green, isn't there? Like even as
There's different shades of green.
Yeah, different shades of green.
And the
The aqua.
Andorians. have
Yeah.
what's the Ena?
Yeah. Exactly.
The Orions.
The Orions come and attack them because they want to take the ship, and they find out. Tendi finds out that the ship is not, in fact, a warship. It was a medical ship designed for the Orion plague that I think was referenced in the original series, right?
Yeah,
Was it Dr. Corby that talked about the Orion plague?
Yeah, it happened. They said. I remember they said they stated it happening during Earth's 15th century.
Oh, right. So
Yeah.
a little while ago.
Yeah, just a little. She also finds out that her crewmates don't particularly want to kill people or anything either.
Correct, yeah.
So, you know, they
I want to be a baker. I want to be a dancer.
yeah, that's right.
And I can't remember what book I read. The plague is what ended the Orion Empire, but the reason why the Orions became pirates was to stay with the tradition of what the Empire had. So that's why the Orions kept continuing the pirating.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
That makes sense.
Yep. So back to the Cerritoses, plural. They are attempting to reopen the rift so that they can go back through, and they've got one ship upside down over the other, kind of like they did something similar to that in Enterprise with the sister ship, which, Tom, you haven't seen yet because you're not up to that part of Enterprise,
Nope.
but it kind of reminded me of that. And so the crews are working together and within their pairs, but they're not all getting along.
At all.
Yeah, most of them are fighting. Boimler's not. The alternate Boimler is rocking the Riker vibes with
Yeah.
the beard and confidence and winking at people and shit. And it's very like
He's
I don't
very
know.
confident. He's
very
He's very
Rikerish.
captain.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
he's cool.
yeah.
And Rutherford is called the other one, Otherford.
Otherford,
I love
just,
Yeah.
which is so clever.
And Otherford is very much more cybernetically enhanced
Yeah.
than Rutherford.
But
and we
emotionally stunted.
Correct. Yeah, we learn that the reason he's got so many mechanical upgrades is because he's extracted as much emotional content or capacity out of his biology as possible because he just missed Tendi too much.
yeah,
Aww. But the whole crew in this alternate ship are scared the fuck of the captain.
great. Isn't it?
So in our universe, she's reckless and funny and just insubordinate. And in this alternate universe, she is a militant captain that demands attention and respect at all times.
It's very mirror-ish.
yeah,
Very Mirror Universe-ish. Yeah,
very much
absolutely.
so. Literally getting the whip out. Yeah,
Just don't have those. What are those chambers called again that they torch people in?
The
No, he doesn't.
agony booth.
Ah, the agony booth.
Agony booth.
yes,
Becky's starting to get curious as to why the crew are all on edge around the captain.
yeah,
Yep.
And then it goes back to the ship where
The blue and the green
the blue and
Orions
green
are
about
fighting.
to fight. Yes, and one gets stabbed.
And then Tendi saves him.
Which is a part of a coup that
Yeah.
happens
Yeah.
against Tendi.
Yeah. It's against the pirate code, so
Yeah.
the others revolt.
yeah. But that's where they find the. That's where the Blues get the map to the ship and everything too.
Correct.
And then they lock in the door, and that's when they find out that it's a medical ship, and they find out that they don't want to be fighters and stuff. That's
Yeah.
that moment.
And then we go back to the power from the nacelles about to go into the deflector dish.
They attempt to open the rift and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And they shoot the thing, but the backfires and there's a bit of a explosion, like a console explosion on the bridge.
You also know it's going to fail because they haven't actually moved anyone over to the other ship at this point, have they?
No, that's right.
But you see the tensions building pretty rapidly.
Yeah. People don't like seeing themselves.
Yeah, as
and
an
interacting
alternate.
with themselves.
When the walls fell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
But our Mariner tries to diffuse the situation a little bit. And that's when the riding crop comes out from alternate Mariner.
Yeah.
And we find out that the alternate Cerritos is mostly Briggs because she likes to throw people in the brig a lot. So Rutherford does some reprogramming of Rutherford to make him appreciate friendships again.
And then it goes back to the Cerritos, and Becky is bagging out
Oh, I love
the
that
captain
bit.
to the wrong Talen.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a really great bit.
Yeah. Talking about how hard ass she is, and she goes, "Are you talking to me because you are under the impression that I am your..."
And the fact that they keep calling our universe the fake universe.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so annoyed. So they've got it set, ready to go. They're about to open the rift and send everyone back. So the alternate mariner kicks everyone off the ship, but then asks for the
Prime line.
our mariner to join her in the ready room for a quick chat. And then she grabs a phaser and shoots her. And then we cut back to... No, we cut to commercial.
Cuts the mariner on the floor.
Yeah, so we cut to... They've swapped... after she shot her, she swaps her uniforms because they're slightly different and changes her hair so that alternate mariner can take the place of our mariner on the Cerritos. Because she doesn't like the hard-ass bitch that she's become as the captain. So she wants to go back to being a charmingly insubordinate lieutenant.
Fun-loving, friendly.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. But Mariner's against it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mariner's like, I don't want to be captain, fuck off.
No, that's right. And then she does a sarcastic Vulcan salute to herself as she walks out the door, which is what she did to her mother in the first season.
Exactly.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. So the green and blue Orions are still fighting, and they use the medical systems to release like a laughing gas into the ship, so that they can attack the blue Orions without too much worry.
Yeah.
But they were wearing masks. But after the fight and they've subdued the blues, they start laughing and think, "Oh, I don't think these masks are really stopping all the gas." Yeah, it was funny.
They have a moment where everyone's saying goodbye on the transporter and everything as well, and Rutherford and Rutherford are having a moment where Rutherford saves the memory of Rutherford and sort of is like, I don't want to forget you. And
Hugs him with his little arm.
Yeah, hugs him with his tiny little third arm and stuff. And
and importantly, Boimler steals a pad from the alternate version of himself. Yeah. Yeah.
And I like the detail of the different colour of the transporter beams as well. So the mirror ship has the yellow colour of the beaming.
Oh, I didn't notice
Cerritos
that.
has the blue colour of the beaming.
Oh, interesting.
Captain Beckett comes in and tries to blend in with the crew before beaming
Friendamundo.
to the prime Cerritos.
and then they successfully widen the space hole.
The rift.
The quantum
fissure. Yes, they do. And our Cerritos heads back, but our mariner on the alternate ship gets free of her restraints and convinces the crew to basically open fire.
As they're heading into
Just
the
softly.
interspatial flexure.
Yes. And I love where the captain goes, "Did they just gently phaser my ship?" And so then they just they swap the mariners over so that they can
They both sides quickly figure out that their mariner is
doesn't
not the
take
right
much.
one.
Once mariner's been replaced, they go back through the rift. The blue Orions are left on the planet, and the green Orions. I'm getting them the wrong way around now. The greens take the warship that they've claimed and take it home. And we go back to a little wrap-up scene in the 10 forward version of on the Cerritos, the bar or whatever it is, with our gang.
So then pretends she's still from the mirror universe.
That was clever.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
she was funny.
At the end of it is where we find out about the blue Orions, the blue Orions being unhappy with the way they took the ship. Because they took it with laughing gas instead of actually fighting them and killing them.
That's right. It was against the pirate code.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So they have a big
So
moment
they're
about
talking
that.
to the mistress.
For unpirate conduct.
Yeah,
that's right.
Pirate-like conduct.
That's right.
We're all still alive. How dare you?
But Tendi is offered to go back to the Cerritos, but she denies it.
Says it's my problem. I made this mess. I will clean it up.
And that's it. So yeah, there was some good stuff in this episode, right?
Yeah, there was lots of good things in that episode.
There was some stuff we didn't cover, but there were just little moments like alternate Boimler doing the reverse Riker maneuver, getting up off the chair with his leg going back over the back.
The space koala in the cloud during the very start.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good season starter, really. Like, it's really good.
Yeah, it was a great kickoff to a new season. I think it was really funny. It was really world building.
Yeah.
Bringing back the Orions, the blue Orions from the animated series.
That was a good touch. That was a good touch.
It's an awesome callback to something very small in the history and lore of Star Trek. So I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job. And it's sort of sad that it is the last season. And, like, is that a definite thing? Like,
yes.
Well, it just sucks.
To Paramount management, you are dickheads.
Absolutely. Before we get into episode 2, what would be the life lesson out of this episode?
Well, I think Rutherford was probably the life lesson with Tendi and how they were meant to be friends still.
Anytime there's an alternate universe episode, I think it's always a lesson in trying not to compare yourself to what could have been.
True.
So you're always like accepting yourself where you're at rather than comparing to, well, what if I did make that decision and this was different? Yeah. So every time there is a mirror universe, that's the kind of message that I get is like accept who you are, where you are, and try not to have regrets or be disappointed that you haven't done something, like Boimler being disappointed that he's not on the cover of Fleet magazine like his alternate self, or those sorts of things.
Well, it's probably a good one. I also like that what you were saying, that sort of like learning to let go a little of people that have sort of left your life in a way. So, or just learning to let go of anything, but learning to let go of the people who are off doing their own thing or have even passed on. So sort of learning to let go is probably a good thing as well.
Let's move on to the second episode of the season premiere, episode 2, which was Shades of Green. This episode was written by Keith Fogelsong, directed by Bob Suarez. And let's get into it. We open on Tendi and her sister.
Rana.
Yep. And their
holographic training program.
Yeah, so they're doing like some testing of pillaging one of the blue facilities, but it's all a little holographic program for them to try to do some practice, really. And their mum comes in and says, "You need to go to bed, girls." But Mum, we've hardly pillaged. Oh, right then.
10 more minutes, you'll be fine.
Yeah, which was pretty cute. And then we come back from opening credits.
Well, her sister gets feels a bit sick.
Oh, yeah.
Like she gets a bit of a goes to stand up and falls back onto the chair, and so she goes over to help her, and she's like, "Oh, it's just a little bit of heartburn, a little bit of indigestion."
Yeah. And then we cut to a planet, Targalis 9, I think.
Yeah, the
Targalis 9.
1. Yep, 9.
And they are transitioning to a post-scarcity society, which just means that they don't use money or anything anymore because they've got replicators, they have technology. So they're becoming Federation members is what I was waiting to say.
Yep.
And Boimler and Mariner are in charge of the currency recycling duty. So they've got a couple of ensigns that they're responsible for. And
loading up a big storage thing full of gold and
press.
jewels.
It looks like gold press platinum bars. But yeah, Boimler is giving out some pointers, some pointers to his crew that he's calling bointers, and Mariner teases him a little bit about the tiny little growth of what looks like it might be a mustache one day.
Yeah, what's that? Is that you got something on your face?
But she talks to him about being a fun boss and basically convinces him to let the ensigns go and have a party in the street because the whole planet is having a party in this to celebrate this post-scarcity transition. And he actually agrees and says, yeah, go. Let's have some fun. Come back in an hour.
Yeah.
And then...
End up with her in the office.
Yeah, so then we cut back to Orion, and Tendy's a bit suspicious about what's going on with her sister because she doesn't think it's heartburn. So she sneaks into her sister's room and listens to her personal logs.
Not an invasion of privacy.
No, not very Starfleet, I'll tell you that much. But in that log, it says that she's talking about her being pregnant. So she knows her sister's pregnant now. And her sister comes in and catches her in the room, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just looking for a dagger."
There's daggers everywhere in this house.
Every room.
Every room has daggers. Oh, silly me. We cut back to the Cerritos, and Lynn is with Rutherford in the workshop where they've been rebuilding that shuttle for a while, the Sequoia, and she wants to help.
Yeah.
Do we have something to point out, though?
Yes.
Have we noticed that when Rutherford was fixing these doors, they were making the cargo bay door noises from the Next Generation of Voyager?
Oh, no, I did not notice.
But when people walk through, it was the normal door noise.
Oh,
really?
No, I
So
did
it's
not
only when
notice.
Rutherford's trying to fix the door noise, it actually makes the full cargo bay or the holographic.
Yeah.
door
Those
noise.
big,
Yeah, right.
those big chunky
Big
doors.
ones.
Yeah, right. I did not notice that. Interesting.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, she says she's going to help fix the Sequoia, and he says he's busy doing other things. And then we cut back to Orion, and the blues and the greens are at a tribunal with the Queen, who... Is this where she sets the fight?
Yeah,
the flight?
Yeah, the flight, yeah. They go back and forth about, we're going to take your wealth and all that kind of
Because
stuff.
there's not enough booty to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Queen orders them to race each other with an old sail ship, like a solar sail ship.
Yeah, first one to go and grab the booty and
Yeah.
then come back wins.
And
Through
then-
a nebula.
and
Yeah.
that's
Nebula.
when Divana decides to teach the Orions that it's actually called Orion.
I don't know. Which one's better? Orion?
I like Orion.
Orions sound like a biscuit.
Yeah.
I know.
I
Every
was thinking that too.
time I hear it, I think of the Oreo. Yeah, they go outside, and you find out that her sister, the older sister, is I'm assuming older, but the sister is actually a sailor from school days.
She's younger because Tendy's the eldest, being the mistress of the winter constellations.
Ah, okay. All right, there you go. All right, so the younger sister actually done sailing when she was at school, so she has a pretty good idea of sail ships.
And then
But not through a nebula.
Then
No.
the quest for the sail thing goes, and they'll get all their fortune taken off them if they lose.
So
Big
high stakes.
Yeah, big stakes.
Yeah.
But Tendy's parents don't seem too bothered by it.
No, and Tendy's really worried about it because she's just found out she's pregnant.
But the only thing that eases her is her family won't be assassinated almost every day, or attempted to be assassinated.
Yeah, because being one of the wealthy families on the planet, that is what happens. So we cut back to the planet with Boimler and Mariner, and they're coming back from there, journeying into the party, and they've got t-shirts on. Like no money, no
not
problems.
accepted.
Yeah. Anyway, so anti-money stuff. And they come back to the work site, and the ensigns are gone, and they should have been back up by now. So they're not sure what's going on, but the Cerritos calls for an update, and Boimler doesn't want to say that there's anything wrong, so just says, "Oh, yep."
Boimler didn't want Ransom to know that he'd lost the ensigns, and so Boimler keeps using Mariner's badge instead of his own.
Yeah.
And they keep saying, but he could have scanned for them.
Yeah.
But they have a shuttlecraft right in front of him
Yeah,
as well.
that's right. They could have scanned themselves. Which I'm pretty sure Mariner says as she runs away. We can still scan, yeah. So she's like, we can still scan too, you don't have to run away. But he's already gone. Boimler's gone. They're running back into the crowds of people.
We cut back to a Orion Dreadnought where they're going to launch the ships from, the sail ships.
Yep.
Both crews getting ready to go. And they're
Is this a homage to Deep Space Nine?
well, every time I see
the
these
solar ships have got to be a
yeah,
reference, right?
yeah. Every
'Cause
time I
that
see them,
does sort of look like the Bajoran
It does.
sail ship.
yeah, they look impressive. I like the sail ships. I mean, they make no real sense, but they look really cool.
It's just
They do.
how they're still using twine ropes and everything in the ships.
Yeah.
And Tendi trying to look after Divana so she doesn't get hurt being pregnant.
Yeah, that's it. Doing everything.
Yeah, it stops her
she
from doing
can.
anything.
Everything she can to stop her.
Yeah.
It's funny moments though, isn't it? You know, pulling her into the chair, holding her down.
Yeah.
But mind you, we had a big thing like that here in Australia with women pregnant playing netball. I mean, these women should be able to still pillage and raid.
Yeah, do whatever.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. You know, they know their own limits.
Yep.
Exactly. And, you know, if a sword goes through it, so be it. That's their limits.
So we cut back to the Cerritos, and Rutherford walks into the workshop, and Talin's up on top of the shuttlecraft, the Sequoia, doing some work.
Rutherford ain't too happy.
No, he's not. She's not doing it with the right things or whatever. He wants to do it for himself because it was a project between him and Tendi. So
She
the fact that she's working on it.
She made a mistake that a certain Krell Delight crystals, she didn't fix the shuttle with Credolite crystals or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made an excuse so that he didn't have to tell her yet that it was all
don't do
him
it.
and Tilly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was just an excuse. We cut back to the planet.
Where everybody's lined up and they're like, wait, there's no money.
We don't need to line up. Hang on a second.
And Boimler and Mariner are still trying to find the ensigns and can't. And then they spot them being kidnapped. They're in the back of a van and they get taken away and they talk to Ransom on the combat.
Yeah.
Boimler's still talking through Mariner's combat.
Mariner's like, oh, we'll just let them know that we've got some problems here.
And Ransom says that, let me guess, they look like this and describes them. And she's like, how did you know? He's like, yeah, it's happening all over the place.
Yeah.
All these rich elitists kidnapping people because they don't want a post-scarcity world because they are going to lose all their power.
So they're becoming terrorist cells.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Which they could have told them before they went down to the
Yeah,
planet.
no, there was no conversation about that. People start getting kidnapped and go missing. No update. No.
Don't let your crew know that.
Yeah. So they ask for some help and they're basically rejected. They're like, nope, you figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
So Boimler hijacks I don't know, like a vehicle, like a
motorbike.
speeder.
Motorbike, yeah, speeder.
That jumps on it the wrong way, which is funny. But he's like, I need to commandeer your vehicle. And the woman's like, whatever, I'll just replicate another one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Post-scarcity now.
That's it. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. So he's off to save them. He wants to be the hero.
Is that the moment where Boimler gets said, like, do you need your own com badge? We can send you down. We can send you down your own, because he keeps using Mariners.
Yeah, funny. We cut back to the pirate ships having their race, and Tendy's still trying to stop her sister from doing anything, trying to make sure she's well hydrated and drinking all the good things. And
while they're getting shot at,
then the blues are breaking the rules and firing at the greens
With the original sound effects from the
Pew,
70s
pew.
animation.
yeah, I noticed that.
And the actual original gun looking thing too that they were using as well.
Fantastic, as they should.
Yeah, I noticed the sound effects. I thought that was awesome.
But yeah, Tendy's sister wants to jump onto the other ship and attack them, like in person. Like wants to board the other ship and attack them.
Take them down.
Well, she's up the duff.
And Tendi says, nope, not going to happen, and organises a mutiny.
A cutiny, Gary.
Cutiny.
Yeah, sorry, a cutiny.
A gentle intervention.
Yeah, a supportive mutiny, a cutiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny.
I swear my dogs stage cutinies on me if I don't give them KFC.
I think most dogs do a cutiny many times.
It's true. It's very true.
So they do successfully do that. They do pin her down in the chair and lock her into it, and she's like, because they call it a cutiny to her, and she's like, the mutiny or don't. What are you doing?
Then we cut back to the planet. Boimler and Mariner have followed the kidnappers
To their rich
to
mansion.
this huge mansion, and their gardener and assistants robots have got weapons just draped around them, but it's like putting a weapon around like a
Robot vacuum.
Yeah.
what do those things look like? Like bowling pins?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they
true.
do.
Yep.
Yeah, they do look like bowling
Like
pins.
maybe a bit
Floating.
rounder at the bottom,
Yeah.
but there's
Floating overweight bowling pins.
yeah, that's right. They've strapped weapons and they're like
And they're very
they're the
confused
guards.
with their programming.
Yeah, they don't know what they're supposed to
do. Or what they're programmed not to harm life either.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm programmed to mow the lawn and be careful about it.
So yeah, they break into the property and get past one of the guards
And then get caught.
and then get busted. And then we cut back to the pirates and
The Orions have fired their harpoon and ripped the solar sail on the Green Orion ship.
Yeah.
And Divana wants to go out and
Put her helmet on, she's off.
I think she wants to go and sort the blues out, but Tendi says otherwise.
yeah, it says, I know you're pregnant. I read your logs.
Yeah.
I know you're pregnant. Just stop.
Yeah. Stop putting yourself at risk. It's not worth it.
That blue bastard ripped our sail in half. There we go.
And then the ship crashes.
And they crash. The green, the ones we're rooting for, Tendi and then Co. Ship crashes.
Yep. Then we
Now
go.
we're back at the rich ass mansion.
Yep, we cut back and the gardener guards are on patrol. They're taking
Like an electric
Boimler.
tooth flosser almost.
It does
It
kind
does,
of.
yeah.
Or like a floating giant douche.
I was going to say that too, but
That's probably the most accurate.
Yeah.
because they do have like douchebags on here
Yeah.
too. So.
So the robot guard is taking Boimler and Mariner
To
to
the wine cellar.
wine cellar, aka the dungeon. And the two missing ensigns are down there, and they're dead. They look very, very, very dead.
Yeah.
And the guard goes, "I did not water them. I have failed."
They must get fertilizer.
So funny.
It was a good thing on there. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
We cut back to the crashed ship, and all of the green Orions are standing outside, and they see the blues go past, and the blues are waving and taunting at them as we're gonna win now. We've got the booty, so we're gonna win. Bye.
Tendi, knowing that she's messed up though, apologising to Divana.
Yeah, and this is when Divana reveals that everyone else on the ship actually knows that she's pregnant. She was only lying to her. Because if she had known that she was pregnant, she would have to stay for another 14 years to help raise the baby in a certain
Because
way.
that's her duty as the mistress.
Mistress of the winter constellations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was doing it to protect her, and she always thought she was trying to save her, but it was the other way around.
Yeah. Tendi notices a comet going by and comes up with a plan. Yep. She grabs a harpoon and she shoots it up at the comet, which of course lifts the ship
Back
out.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, back out off the planet.
I'm noticing in
Deploy
all
the sails.
their
and off they go.
weapons lockers is in the Orion's ones is all like harpoons and stuff, so probably goes back to the pirate theme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So I've just noticed that.
It's just
We
silly.
cut back to the Cerritos. There's a weird moment with Rutherford and I don't forget that guy's name, but he's all burnt up and
Chief engineer, what's his name?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And he's all burnt up and a little bit on fire, and he's they make a reference about his mum sending him a dragon.
Yeah. It's just silly.
Yeah, it's funny. But then Rutherford walks into the workshop, and Talin's been there all night because she requires less sleep than humans and has repaired the Sequoia. It's done. It's fixed.
It looks good too.
Yeah, it looks good. And he is quite upset about it. He didn't want it to be repaired. The working together on a project was what was exciting, not getting the job done.
Yeah, and he wanted to do it with Tendi.
That's right.
It was the act of collaboration and not just fixing the ship.
Yeah.
And then he finds out that
Talin.
wanted to that she was lying to him too because she actually done it
Because she wanted to spend time with him.
Yeah, she wanted to spend time with him. So
And be friends.
Yeah, which was good. Which was a good moment.
She's nearing Pon Far.
Definitely trying to get closer to him.
Yeah.
That 7-year cycle.
We cut back to Boimler and Mariner in their cell in the wine cellar on the planet, and they're trying to revive the 2 dead ensigns. The rich people come in and go, "Oh my God, we killed them. I didn't mean to kill them. We didn't want to hurt anyone. Oh my God. We just didn't want to lose our power."
Yeah, we're rich. We just...
So yeah, Boimler says, "Well, you're not only going to be poor now. You're going to go to jail. Starfleet's going to throw you in jail, and you're not going to have anything."
Yeah, space aliens are going to put you in jail.
Yeah. So they run away because they don't want to go to jail, and
They were going to learn how to eat mud.
Sorry,
The rich people said they'll go live in the desert and learn how to eat mud.
That's right. And then the ensigns wake up.
Yeah.
And when they were kidnapped, they remembered one of Boimler's pointers about knowing the fauna and flora on the planet, and they used a little insect or something to...
Called a tie-dye beetle.
Is it?
Oh, really?
Tie-dye.
Which makes them appear dead for some time.
It's a tie-dyed
coma beetle. There you go.
Very
so
psychedelic.
Made them appear dead. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a good trick.
Good trick. So the gardener lets them out. Yep. The floating douche lets them out of the cell.
And then Boimler wants to get them back to the ship to medical, but they think Boimler's a bit of a buzzkill.
Yeah, they're like,
they wanted to go back to the party.
Yeah, thought you were fun, man.
We cut back to the pirates racing. The Orions are on the comet, and they're catching up to the blue Orions, and they harpoon over, and then they slide on over and attack the blues to try to get the booty.
Looks like a big dilithium crystal, the booty.
It
does kind of.
Yeah. And she gets it and throws it out the back and shoots it.
And she
Blows it up.
destroys the booty that they're supposed to be getting. So she's, in her mind, in her Starfleet training mind,
Yeah.
that means it's a tie. So like nobody wins.
Yeah, which means nobody loses all their wealth.
That's
what
right.
She says.
But then they get back to the planet, and the Queen's like, "No, you both lose, and we're going to take both of your of your wealth." So you're done.
Yeah.
So poor Tendy's family is going to lose all of their money and wealth and power.
Yeah.
But she does get to go back to Starfleet.
Yep.
Then
Has a moment with her family who are quite
she says
happy.
goodbye.
Yeah, they're not angry about
Yeah,
it, really. They're just like,
fine.
money isn't really everything, you know. We're quite happy as long as everyone...
sick of being attempted to be assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we go back to Rutherford on the Cerritos, who's trying to fix another door, and it opens and closes a couple of times, and then it opens and Tendy's there, and he gets all excited, and they have a big hug, and she says she can't wait to work on the shuttle with him.
Yeah. Again, the sound effect with the door was the holodeck shuttle.
The big
bay
door.
The big door.
And he said to what's the Vulcan girl's name again?
Talin.
At the start that he's been trying to fix these old doors.
So
I just try to figure out why the different sound effects.
Yeah.
So they walk into the workshop, and Talin has destroyed the shuttle that she fixed already. It's a mess.
It's even worse than it was.
It's way worse than it was before.
But we also have a little glimpse of a little silver
Badgie.
badge.
Yeah, Badgie.
Who ends up hiding behind the pilot seat in the shuttlecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peeking over.
Yeah.
But
But this is not a holodeck, right?
No.
So does that mean that because he was with her, with Talin, what's her name again? Talin. He was taking the ship apart with her.
Yeah. Who knows?
Because if you go back and have a look, he's breaking apart the ship with her.
Yeah, he's got a little hammer and everything.
Yeah.
And then he hides away from everyone.
Yeah.
So
So
what-
Talin recruited Badgie for help.
Is she Section 30 badge?
Ooh.
Well, does that mean that she might be working with him? Like, is she... Like, she might not be a good person like we think she is as well.
Or it's just a tease for something that's going to come up later.
Possibly. Or is all of this in the holodeck?
Maybe.
Maybe all of this is just one big dream.
No, not that again.
What if we wake up at the end of it and
We learnt from Enterprise.
Riker just walks out of the holodeck and goes, well, that was an interesting...
The Cerritos only had replicators, not a chef.
Well, we know this is not true. We saw Strange New Worlds. There was a crossover. It exists.
True.
So while we're there, while we're in that room, Mariner and Boimler come in and talk about the mission they were just on and how they had to get rid of all this jewels and gold and wealth. So Tendi says, how much?
what would that be worth?
So arranges for all of that to go to Tendi's sister and family to go and pick it up. So they come and get it, and there's
They become the wealth disposal service.
for this post scarcity planet, and they come to pick it up, and the blue Orions are now
Working.
servants for the green Orions.
Well, they are males, so they would be the servants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's very clever.
Yeah, it's very funny.
And then that was it.
And that was it. That was the end of the episode. That was the end of our premiere.
You know, it wouldn't work like that here on Earth, not for a very long time. We'd create replicators and then still have to fucking pay for anything we get replicated.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, even though it comes from air.
Yeah, that's it. It'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to use a replicator? Well, that's fine. But if it's anything over 30 centimeters, it's going to be an extra $55. And you'd be like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Of course it would.
Come on, so,
We pay for water.
Yeah.
if Earth started a party like that, we know there would be a certain country that'd be like, no, that's socialist. We can't have
Well,
Can't
that.
have that.
Yeah,
We can't
that's-
have everybody getting help and
Yeah.
equal opportunity.
No, fuck that.
Nah, just wouldn't
Anyway.
happen. It's fucked.
So what's the life lesson in this episode? Maybe don't make assumptions about someone's motivations.
Well, that's probably a really good one because it covers a couple of things that happened in the episode, isn't it? You know,
And-
like,
and Vulcans get lonely too.
well, they do.
Oh,
Yeah,
poor Vulcans.
she must have ran out of meditations.
Ran out of candles. I think I like that. I think that's actually good. Don't make assumptions on other people's motivations. It's probably a really good one.
Yep.
Because that covers both that moment with Rutherford and the fixing of the shuttle, and it also covers her sister.
Yeah.
And that whole moment there as well with the pregnancy and stuff, and you know, you can't do this because you need to protect the baby. Well, it's got nothing really to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm actually protecting you. That's my motivation. So yeah, I like that. I really do. That's a really good one.
Yeah,
All right, we'll stick to that then.
brilliant.
Too easy. Cool. All right. Well, that was a really good first couple episodes of the last season of a really great show. So
Thank you very much for having me.
thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll join us for the rest of the Lower Decks episodes
Yes, please.
while we continue to breach the Temporal Directive. But Tom and I will be back with our normal episode on Friday, and we'll be back with the next Lower Decks episode next week. But yes, in the meantime, feel free to join us in the conversation. You can find us on Facebook at Temporal Directive Podcast and Instagram, just Temporal Directive. You can get in touch via email at wakefield_productions@outlook.com. And you can tell us what you thought of the Lower Decks premiere episodes or anything Trek related at all. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll be back on Friday. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.